Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful spring evening. My name is Jason Rash. I am the Interim Director of Athletics here at the college. Before we enjoy our meal and start the formal part of the program, I'd like to introduce the President of the college, Wendy Raymond.
Thank you, Jason, and good evening, everyone. This is one of my very favorite events of all the events of the year because of these many students that we are celebrating tonight. It is not just that we're celebrating the two co-winners of the Ambler Award, but as you know, we're celebrating all of the students that are in this room, you family members, you faculty, advisors, and the coaches that have all been on this journey with these amazing students at Haverford College for 4 years. This is my favorite one. Okay, I can call it my favorite event in here because you're here, and please don't tell anybody that about that. Because of how every one of you students embodies Haverford's values. At the core of what we do here is offer a seminal liberal arts education, and each of you has embraced the challenges and the opportunities of that in so many different ways across your whole time here. And you've embraced what is so core to Haverford, which is a sense of ethics and giving back to community. You have done that through your athletics leadership, both for yourself, your personal bests, and everything that you've given to your teams and to the college. And that combined means you are a stellar Ford. You also are here because of the life and work of another stellar Ford, Bill Ambler, class of 45, a legendary, kind, generous, long-serving dean of admission who brought so many students who are very much like you to Haverford over generations. And I love the fact that we're coming together to celebrate Bill Ambler's legacy and also the legacy that you're giving us from the time and the effort and who you are that you've brought to Haverford College. So I want to celebrate everybody here in the room and call out, just as we will later tonight, Carly and Jonah, our two co-winners of the Bill Ambler Award this year, while we also celebrate all of you. Thank you for being here, and I'm going to take one more minute to say, will you please join me in a Haverford tradition of sharing a moment of silence? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendy. The catering staff will now indicate when each table may go up to the buffet, so please enjoy your dinner, and I will be back later. Thank you. I hope you're having a good time. We are thrilled to be able to gather with family and friends and share in what is always one of the highlights for the Department of Athletics and the college as a whole. This evening, we honor and celebrate student athletes who have achieved excellence in both academics and athletics in their pursuits as we hand out the William W. Amler Award. The award is named after Haverford alum William Ambler and has been presented annually since 1999. William Ambler, originally a member of the class of 1945, epitomized what it means to be a scholar athlete. After enrolling at Haverford and playing on the football team, he left midway through his studies to join the civilian public service during World War II. He then returned to the college and graduated in 1949 with a degree in mathematics. In 1956, Ambler was hired as Haverford's Director of Admission, and he remained in that role until his retirement in 1987. During his tenure, Haverford College became coeducational. Its enrollment more than doubled, and the proportion of students of color increased significantly. The award honors the senior scholar athlete, or athletes, as in the case tonight, with the highest cumulative grade point average. To win the Amler Award, a student must have lettered in at least one sport throughout their college career and demonstrated commitment, sportsmanship, and leadership. I want to offer my congratulations to all the students here this evening as we honor you for being the top scholar athletes in the senior class, including this year's co-recipients of the Ambler Award, Jonah Hoffmann-Weitsman and Carly Priest, members of the men's and women's track and field teams. Before we get to Jonah and Carly, I would like to share some impressive facts about all of the students in the room with us tonight. They represent 14 different teams, 8 different majors, and 7 different minors. They come from 11 different states and 2 countries, and 10 of them are team captains. And among them, their many awards and accolades include All-American designations, a variety of Centennial Conference and Liberty League athletic and academic selections, sportsmanship awards, and 9 NCAA or College Squash Association national championship appearances. At this time, we will hear directly from the students themselves. They have been prepped, so they knew this was coming. Kern will go around with a microphone, and please stand up and state your name, your team, your major, your thesis topic, your most memorable athletic moment at Haverford, and your plans for after graduation. And if you could hold your applause until they're all finished. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew. I'm on the men's soccer team, and I'm a math major. And my thesis topic is about quantifying player performance in soccer. My favorite athletic moment at Haverford was this past season when my friend Gabe scored the game winner against Swarthmore in the last minute to send us to playoffs for the first time in my time here. And after college, I'm going to be working in economic consulting in DC. So.
Hi, I'm Julia JJ Stein. I'm a math major on the women's soccer team. And my favorite memory as my time here was last year playing Dickinson when we won at home and then we dunk coach in the dunk tank right after. And next year I'll be doing the systems engineering program at Penn.
My name is Ellie. I'm on the volleyball team. I'm a psych major, education minor, and my thesis is on how 2 to 4-year-olds use labels and the intersection of race and gender when making generalizations about people. My favorite memory was senior day when we beat Hopkins, and I think that was like their first conference loss in like a while. And then after college, I'm hoping to get a lab manager position and then get a PhD in developmental psychology.
My name is Alexis. I am a player on the lacrosse team here, and then I am a chemistry major with a pure math minor. My thesis is on building a specific type of apparatus for our lab. And then my plan for after graduation is to get my PhD at Wisconsin-Madison. And my favorite memory was beating F&M this last Saturday, first time in 26 years. So.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I'm also on the women's lacrosse team, and I'm a psych major. My favorite memory is also beating F&M this past Saturday. My thesis is looking at identity development in college students through the lens of future self-defining memories. And next year, I will be working at a financial consulting startup in Newark, New Jersey.
I'm Antonin. I'm a chemistry major on the men's lacrosse team. My favorite athletic memory at Haverford was our freshman year spring break trip hiking Garden of the Gods. My thesis is on the streamlined synthesis of various rare bacterial sugars. Is that all the questions? Oh yeah, and after graduation, I'm going to work at a medical consulting company in Tampa.
My name is Oliver Abar. I'm a history and French double major econ minor. Thesis? Yeah. My history thesis looks at the way political structures impact musical expression. My French thesis looks at rap in Paris. After college, I'm going to work on my friend's oyster farm and then look at going to grad school in Paris as well, having been inspired by the amazing French faculty. So, good. Thank you.
I'm Nikki Lavu. I'm on men's tennis, neuroscience major, and my capstone topic is the therapeutic potential of GLP-1 agonists for substance use disorders. My favorite athletic memory was last year over spring break, our upset win over Redlands. And after college, next year I'll be starting medical school at Jefferson.
Hey everyone, my name is Mara DeSillis. I am on the baseball team and I'm a math major and an econ minor. My thesis topic is extending the fitness fatigue model with time-varying dose-response gains in an optimal control framework. My favorite sports memory is beating Swarthmore 24-10 in the semifinals last year to go to the Centennial Conference Championship. And post-graduation, I will be working as an investment banking analyst in New York City.
Hi, my name is Brianna Pfeiffer. I am a political science major on the women's basketball team and outdoor track and field team. My thesis is on Columbia peace negotiations in 2016 and how they came to include gender provisions. And my favorite athletic memory was going to Puerto Rico with the basketball team and beating a ranked team. And next year, I plan on going to graduate school at St. Andrews.
Hi, I'm Ariman Jaising from Haverford Men's Squash. All of us are from Haverford. Yeah, computer science major. My thesis is privacy-preserving frameworks in computational epidemiology. My favorite athletic memory was actually a month ago today when Haverford Men's Squash won the Conroy Cup, but that wasn't the biggest part of it. I think the biggest part of it was all 7 generations of Haverford Men's Squash I've trained with from when I was a freshman till when I was a senior were present for that moment. And I think the first thing we did after getting the cup was run to the seniors, juniors, my freshman year, and celebrated it together. And my plan for next year is doing the Computer Information Science Masters at Penn.
Hi, I'm Nina Chafee. I'm a pure math major, and my thesis is on maximal one systems. So essentially, how many curves can we pack onto a surface such that any 2 of them intersect at most once? I was on the women's fencing team. My favorite athletic memory is probably beating Penn State as a squad. And my plans for after graduation is to take a gap year to apply to PhD programs, most likely in topology.
Hi everyone, my name's Michael Pio. I'm on the men's fencing team here. I'm a political science major minoring in health studies and a concentration in peace, justice, and human rights. My thesis topic is comparative welfare state analysis of France and the United States and seeing why one country extends healthcare to undocumented immigrants when one doesn't. So just comparing those 2 and seeing what political factors lead to the provision of healthcare. My favorite athletics memory is not just one moment. It's actually has spanned over the past 4 years, and it's the bus rides back home after a meet away. And I feel like those are the best moments to kind of bond and talk and reflect with your teammates. And especially when I was an underclassman, annoy the upperclassmen for help in my statistics class, and I would always ask them for help, which is probably why I'm here today, because they were very helpful. After graduation, I'll be doing a pre-medical post-bac program at Bryn Mawr College to fulfill my prerequisite classes for dental school. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Audrey. I'm a psychology major on the women's cross country and track and field teams. My thesis concerns how the relationship between the emotion of awe and psychosocial outcomes is different between individualistic and convivial collectivistic cultures. My favorite memory from athletics at Haverford is probably the traveling for cross country conferences and having like the night before meeting with the whole team and just feeling that pre-competition energy. And next year, I will be working as a clinical research assistant in the Translational Neuroscience Center at Boston Children's Hospital.
Hi, I'm Sophia Furman. I'm a senior, obviously, on the women's track and field team and cross country. I'm a chemistry and French double major. The subject of my chemistry thesis concerns the 2H-azarine molecule, which has promising therapeutic and inhibition potential. And my French thesis concerns the Algerian War for Independence and its legacy in literary context. And my favorite memory of track and field and cross country is probably this past indoor season when I ran my personal best in the 800 meters, and all my friends and family were there to uplift me and celebrate me, and that was really special. And next year, I intend to work at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and do a clinical research position.
An impressive group of students, absolutely. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize the head coaches, faculty members, and deans with us here tonight. On behalf of the department, the students, and their families, we thank you for your support, dedication, and commitment to the overall development of our scholar athletes. At this time, I would like to welcome to the podium Jonah's thesis advisor, Gordon Peterson, Assistant Professor of Chemistry.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Gordon, and I have had the pleasure of being Jonah's and Alexis's thesis advisors, but mostly I'm going to talk about Jonah. His chemistry professor, academic advisor, and research mentor here at Haverford. Jonah joined my group in the spring of his junior year after he returned from a study abroad in Melbourne. I was very new to Haverford at the time. It was just after my first semester, and I didn't really know what to expect. And at first I didn't recognize how lucky I was to have had Jonah be interested in wanting to join my group. Since then, I've rectified that mistake and come to understand how fortunate I really was in that moment. Case in point, we're here. Jonah is being recognized because he has one of the highest GPAs here in his class. Jonah won the nationally competitive Goldwater Scholarship, and Jonah has, to my count, you can correct me if I'm wrong, been in 5 different research groups at 4 universities. Is that correct? Okay, I think that's right. So needless to say, he was accomplished well before he got to me and has continued that upward trajectory, and it's been amazing. I promise I won't get too technical with this, but I do want to briefly just talk about the research that Jonah has done in my chemistry group. For his thesis, I asked Jonah to do some proof of concept studies that I was interested on testing some new materials for lithium-ion batteries, mostly to help support a lab class I was planning to teach this current spring. I knew very little about batteries at the time, and honestly, I was just sort of thinking, okay, this is a good project. He can reproduce some literature results, and I'll learn a little bit about it before I have to teach this class. And then after that's over, he'll graduate, the class will be over, and we'll retire that. I'll return to the normal stuff I do. I was just telling my table over here, Jonah took this as a personal challenge, and decided that he would make the project so wildly successful that I would have no choice except to continue doing it forever. So since starting from ground zero, because of course he was off doing a different research internship the past summer, so he started in September, that was just 7 months ago, started from zero, I didn't know anything, he didn't know anything about batteries at the time, and we've gone from there. Jonah has now discovered 6 new materials, been granted access to specialized instrumentation at government research labs, presented his work at Haverford, TRICO, and national symposia, and is well on the way to publishing his work this upcoming summer. So with all that in mind, Jonah, I think I do have to acknowledge defeat, and you win. I'm now a battery chemist going forward. Productivity aside, my favorite part of knowing and working with Jonah has been our meandering and philosophical chats in my office, sometimes hour, 90 minutes long, that he might refer to as mentoring, or like, that's what I'd call, maybe quote unquote mentoring, but we both know are really just Jonah talking through, reflecting on the things he already knows, saying it out loud until he kind of convinces himself, yeah, okay, this is what I'm going to do. We're thinking about his life, his research, whatever it is. Jonah's the kind of person who, at one point, told me, and only half joking, I think, that he was, quote, pretty sure he could make the best battery ever. And despite how absurdly grandiose that statement is, he made me half believe him. Just yesterday, Jonah was telling me about how proud he is of the growth that he's experienced at Haverford, both as a scientist and a person. And I've only known him for, a little over a year and a half maybe. But it's plain to see that he has all the tools to accomplish whatever it is that he sets his mind to. Someone might characterize a student like Jonah as someone with extraordinary potential, but I actually think that's selling him a little bit short. Jonah is currently extraordinary. Right now, Jonah has the depth of scientific knowledge, intuition, and maturity that I would expect from a mid-career graduate student, and is closer to me as a collaborator than he really is as a mentee. I know from our discussions that he's currently agonizing over his decision on which grad school to attend. He has many great options, and they're all awesome. No matter which path he chooses, I couldn't be more confident that he's going to thrive. If they are wiser than me, his colleagues at his next institution will know right away, rather than having a while to figure it out, how lucky they are to have him working with him. So congratulations, Jonah. Congratulations to all the students being honored here tonight. You've all worked remarkably hard and are poised to do remarkable things. So please stay in touch, and thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Jonah's track and field head coach, Matt Cohen.
Hi, everyone. So, I'm very proud of the work we do as a department. I think the students included in the department, right, because we're nothing without our students. And beyond proud, I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to the college for recognizing that what we do in athletics is part of an education. The way I see it, there's broadly 3 different ways to think about athletics in higher ed in America today. Right? You can do the revenue marketing model, right? Alabama football, right? You're serving a purpose to the college. You better do it. You can treat athletics as an amenity, right? Everyone gets to play. It's a fun way to blow off steam. Show up when you want. Who cares? Or you can do it, and I think we do this really well across the college, as a core part of the education, right? Not every student is a part of athletics, but for the students who are, the idea is that from 4 to 7, or February for a lot of sports, 8 p.m., 10 p.m., whenever it is, you're going to be in a living lab to push yourself, to learn values, and to see what you can make of the world around you, right? And that's no different than making batteries, or not that different. When Jonah came out for the team as a freshman, he'd never run a step of track and field. He'd been a high school tennis player. Sorry, Eric. We're very, very grateful that he chose to find a new sport to love. He came in, say, October 1st or so, and by November 1st or so, he's a little beat up, but he had established that he had the right approach. He had an approach as a varsity-level collegiate athlete that was going to make himself better and bring his teammates with him. And he's lived up to that high personal standard that he has for himself every day along the way. I think he did a really great job. He studied abroad in Melbourne. Lovely. Have a great time. He was at track practice every day. He made that a big part of his commitment to himself. He turned it to social hour. He came back in great shape. He's got a couple of weeks left to be a college-level track and field guy, which is so cool. One thing about being a senior athlete, some of you still in season, which is awesome, is, you said you were on the fencing team, right? It doesn't actually quite go away. The things that you learn, or the things that you embody, the way that you approach your sport and everything else you're doing, carry on no matter what your venue will be next year and beyond. And those are some very impressive venues. So Jonah, thank you for falling in love with the new sport. Thank you for everything you bring to our team. We're so proud of you. And congratulations to everyone.
It's now my pleasure to introduce the 2026 Ambler Award co-winner, Jonah Hoffman-Weitsman.
Thank you very much. I want to start out by congratulating Carly, actually. There is nobody that deserves this award more than her, including myself. And I know Ohio is watching us with pride. But I am truly honored to be in this room with so many exceptional scholar athletes, mentors, coaches, loved ones. When I think back on my time here, there's so much to be grateful for. I mean, the education that I've received, the opportunity to compete in the sport that I love, this beautiful campus, but what I find myself infinitely more grateful for is the people that I've met here. My mentors have shaped the way that I see the world. My friends have carried me through some of my lowest moments, and my teammates have brought me just incredible community. The people here are just spectacular, and that includes everyone in this room right now. Now, I have to start out by thanking my family. My dad is the greatest parent that I could have ever asked for. I owe him so much of my success, and every single day I appreciate how lucky I am to have him. So, my sister will forever be my first line of advice. No matter how tired of me and my repetitive mistakes she might get, she's always going to be the first person that I text when I need real advice. I also want to thank my mom, who passed, for her love, support, and resilience that I still carry with me every single day. I want to thank my advisor, Gordon, who probably feels a little bit more like a counselor than a research advisor sometimes. But he's been such an incredible mentor, even though he says that maybe I just talk myself into things. But he's really made thesis so enjoyable, and it's been so much fun to work in his lab. And I will forever be most grateful to him for letting me talk in circles about grad school for hours, no matter how busy he may be. I also want to thank my coach, Matt, for all that he's done for me. When I walked onto the team in my freshman year, I mean, every single day, I gave it everything that I had. But by the end of indoor season, I was still the worst runner on the team, and I had really achieved nothing more than terrible, horrible shin splints. And it's almost like he could sense it, because I was so close to giving up. But one day after practice, he pulled me aside, and he told me that the way that I approached the sport had a real chance to make an impact on the sprints program. And I took it to heart, and now, 3 years later, the sprints program is the best that it's ever been, and I'm just very, very happy that I'm a part of it. Finally, I need to thank my teammates. I came into this year with pretty lofty goals, and I had to watch a lot of them kind of wash away after I tore my labrum. And as I decided whether or not to get surgery or to finish out the season and just kind of get through it, I had to weigh the fact that if I continued to run, I'd be risking further damage to my hip, and I would probably have to adjust my expectations for the rest of the year. And if I had been in any other group of guys, I would have chosen to call it. But I knew there was so much joy to be found in the process of just every day showing up and getting to, hang out with some of my favorite people in the world. And so I'm really grateful to them. It's funny, back in third grade, I had a teacher who pretty much ingrained in us every single day that, you are who you surround yourself with. And I remember thinking at the time, how stupid is that? How ridiculous. I am who I am, it doesn't matter who's around me. But now I can really see that I am nothing more than a product of the incredible people that surround me. And I'm so grateful to everyone who has helped me through these past 4 years. And I am even happier to be in this room celebrating all of these incredible people who I am lucky to call my peers. Thank you.
Thank you. Now please welcome to the podium Hannah Schoenhardt, Assistant Professor of Biology and Carly's Thesis Advisor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hannah Schoenhardt. I'm a professor of biology at Bryn Mawr College, and Carly was in my neurobiology class, which is where we met. And now she has become, she did summer science research in my lab and has for the last year been doing her thesis in my lab as well. So when Carly let me know that she was going to receive the Ambler Award, I was obviously very excited for her, but to be honest, I was not terribly surprised. You see, Carly was in my neurobiology class in spring of 2025, the very first semester that I was teaching, and she just blew me away. She set the bar for excellence in this class. She was so involved, she was asking thoughtful questions, she was studying hard, she was doing great on all of my quizzes. And so in February of that year, about a month after I started teaching, one day I learned that it was the deadline for Haverford students to apply for summer science research. And so that day I walked into class and I said, hey guys, I was going to teach about neuroscience today, but first, does anybody want to join my lab real quick? The deadline is 5 p.m. today. And Carly and Savannah, who is actually also on the track team, were two Haverford students who leapt at the opportunity to apply for a lab from a professor they had literally met 2 weeks before. And whenever they applied, I was so excited to have them. It was literally a no-brainer to say yes. So Carly came into my lab in the summer of 2025, and whenever we were talking through what kind of project she was going to do, she was really committed to this Haverford ideal, right, of giving back. And so wanted to do a project related to human health and human disease. And it just so happened that I was literally starting to, for the first time, pilot experiments on this, trying to model a childhood neurodegenerative disease in fruit flies. And so this disease involves a misspelling in this gene called TBCK, and it turns out that fruit flies have that same gene. And so the broad concept of this project was, okay, let's see if we can get a misspelling in TBCK in the fruit flies, and let's see if those fruit flies share characteristics of the human disease, with the idea being that we could then maybe look at what potential treatments there could be for this disease. So Carly's project was the very phase one of characterizing that mutation in the fruit fly, and what does it even do? Carly, in the summer that she was in the lab, was immediately starting to set the tone for the lab, right? Like I said, I was brand new, and so coming in, right, my lab didn't have a culture. My lab didn't have people, right? So Carly and Savannah were coming in as some of the very first students, and were really setting the tone as the most senior students in the lab. And the tone that they set was so incredibly positive, mutually supportive, students really working to uplift one another and be kind to one another and pitch in. And that lab culture has been incredible to witness. I wish I could claim credit, but really I think that this spirit of teamwork that Carly really brought to this lab as a role model for the other students was something that was just so beautiful to see, and wish I could claim credit, but that was all the students' work, and so I'm just very, very proud and really, really grateful for that, and that will be a big part of your legacy in the lab. So Carly is an A student, and we don't give A+s at Bryn Mawr, but if we did, she would have gotten an A+ in neurobio. She literally finished the class with a 99%. And students with that kind of record, they know how to succeed academically, right? They put in the work, and then the results that they get are, usually proportional to the amount of effort that they're putting in, right? And I assume, I'm not an athlete myself, but similarly, you put in the practice, you put in the time, and you hopefully see yourself improve as a function of how much effort you're putting in. So scientific research sometimes works that way. And sometimes it doesn't. So every once in a while, you get an extraordinary string of luck. Like you leave your Petri dishes out on the cabinet for a couple days too long and you discover penicillin. And sometimes you get the opposite kind of luck, where no matter what you do, nature does not cooperate. And the joke is, right, scientists make plans and nature laughs. And so Carly got a big taste of that as she was first starting out in the lab. So whenever we started working with these TBCK mutant flies, the first thing we noticed about them, which Carly discovered, is that they were in fact quite sickly. In fact, they were so sick that they drowned in their own food. So that was a little bit of a setback, but Carly persevered. And then it turned out that at some point, the lab that gave us these flies had a little bit of a mix-up, and it turned out that these very sickly flies, we thought, oh, maybe they're sick because they're having symptoms. No, they didn't have the TBCK mutation that we had been told that they did. So Carly did a bunch of work to figure that out, and then was immediately like, oh no, my project. So then Carly had to pivot, right? So instead of being able to use those flies, she had to use a much more time-consuming and tedious technique to actually selectively manipulate that gene in certain cells. And so she put in a ton of work, and she tried again, and she got a really fascinating preliminary result. And I was like, this is so cool. Like they have, increased sleep. This is amazing. Like maybe we could link this to the sleep that is happening in the human patients, right? And then, because Carly is an excellent scientist, she repeated this experiment, right? Because we do everything twice to make sure it's real. And then it didn't repeat, right? So Carly, this whole time, is showing up with a great attitude, is persevering, is putting in the time, is putting in the effort, and it's just not paying off, right? And so this is super, super normal in science. But I wanted to check in, right? Because, this is a really tough situation for someone who is so academically excellent, so athletically excellent, right? To have the situation where all of this hard effort is just not paying off and not paying off, right? And Carly and I, in one of these debriefs after this experiment, she just sighed and she said, "We laugh so we don't cry," right? And yes, scientists plan, nature laughs, and sometimes scientists just have to laugh along. So I could end us on a downer note, but actually, Carly was not going to let that happen. So actually, just in the last month, we have pivoted to looking at a different gene. We decided TBCK was maybe a little cursed. And so we pivoted to looking at a different gene, and Carly immediately was able to find this really fascinating phenotype, and very importantly, reproducible, which we love to see. And we are going to continue working with that gene over this summer. So we are going to keep up that work in the future, thanks to what Carly has done establishing that in the lab. And so Carly is here for an award that is celebrating, yes, her incredible academic achievements, and that is an award that she very, very richly deserves. But I also want to, as her advisor, celebrate her character, right, and her resilience. Carly is the kind of person who continues to work hard, even after getting knocked down time and time again. She is showing up again and again, and she's putting in the time, and eventually she did get that amazing result. She is someone who has brought this spirit of teamwork and this culture of mutual support among the students of the lab, which is so valuable and so inspiring to see. And she is someone who keeps smiling and, yes, even laughing through all of the challenges that she faces. So congratulations, Carly, on this award.
Thank you. I'm now happy to introduce Carly's track and field head coach, Anik Lamar.
Can y'all hear me? Yes? Amazing. All right. Hi, so my name is Anik Lamar, and I just want to congratulate all the amazing student athletes we have in the room today. I want to do 4 shout-outs, though, because 4 of them are mine. So we have Sophia, Audrey, and Bree, and of course, Carly. Congratulations to you for all that you've done on and off the track. So congratulations to everybody. So I've actually been dying to talk about Carly for a while. So conveniently, you won the Ambler. This is great, but I've been walking up and down the halls. I talked to Matt Cohen about you. I've literally been using the story of Carly Priest to sort of explain my coaching, so you made this very convenient by giving me a little bit of time in front of a microphone. And the reason I want to talk about Carly is the journey we've been on together. So I was telling my table that my first day back at Haverford, I was a student, but my first day back at Haverford was Carly's first day of college. So we started this journey, head coach, first-year student, together. And being a track and field coach, you see athletes for 3 seasons. So for 11 seasons, 5 to 6 days a week for 2 hours, I have seen Carly a lot. I think I'm the only person over the age of 22 who has seen you more. I think I'm the old person that you see the most on campus. So I can tell you a couple things about Carly. And the first thing I can tell you is she's extremely hardworking. That is obviously a theme that keeps coming up. She cares deeply for her teammates and her friends and her family. She likes to do the right thing. She's very ethically driven. And I can tell you her college track and field experience has not always been easy. So also with the flies, man, girl, you're getting it from all sides. So there have been very successful moments in Carly's track experience. She was on varsity cross country. She's ran really solid times, but they weren't very dissimilar for what she had done in high school. And we weren't advancing like we really wanted to advance, like we were expecting to advance. Her work was not, it's like the flies. The work was not showing up on the track. The flies weren't living, the times weren't coming. It's a metaphor for life, folks. So it is indoor championships last year, and this is the story I tell, and this is with me, it's embedded in my psyche. So it's indoor centennial conferences last year. Carly runs a race. It's not the race that she wants. She runs right off the track, and she's frustrated. You've been frustrated most of that season. So you run right off the track, but because you're from Ohio, you're really polite about it. And you're really constructive. So you're mad, but you're like, Coach, a thought. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and the thought was, I can't do this anymore. You said that within 3 minutes of finishing that race. I can't do this anymore. And this moment of an athlete finishing a race, coming to me and expressing displeasure, which we'd been talking about, was one of the bravest things I'd ever seen an athlete do. She had told her head coach that she needed different training in real time. She had told her head coach, who'd been coaching for 16 years, that she needed different training. She had told her head coach, who had been coaching for 16 years, who's also the school record holder in the event she's running, that she doesn't like what's happening. This was brave across the board. I was very impressed with her. And I wanted Carly to be happy. She had worked hard. She was the sort of athlete you wanted on your team. I wanted her to be happy, so I said, great, we'll change it. And I had no idea what we were going to change. I don't think I told you that. I said, yeah, we'll change things. And I was like, what are we going to change? I don't know. I have no idea what we're going to change. It's like, we speak English, but you want me to speak Italian, and I don't know Italian. And I have a week to learn Italian. So we are smart Haverford women. So we figured it out. And within 2 weeks, we had come up with a completely different training plan. And this was like pivoting to the most extreme extent. Carly went from working out with lots of teammates to working out with no one at first, until some of her other teammates joined her. She went from doing longer, slower reps that were manageable to all-out, awful training things. We just did one today. It was tough. Yeah, we did the hardest reps, the kind of worst sort of training you could ever come up with, and she ate it all up. She was extremely coachable, so she said, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. 6 weeks later, just 6 weeks later, this person PRs in the 800 meter. She destroys her event. She took this hard training, she synthesized it, she trusted the coaches, and she PRs. And I don't think we told you this, but all the coaches were just crying. We were like hot messes because you had worked so hard and you had done so well. And so 1 year later from that race, we are now, this past March, we are back at that cursed Franklin and Marshall track once more. We are back there where you had told me a year ago, I can't do this anymore. But now you are the starting leg on the 4x8 relay. We go on to break the school record. You go on to win gold. You're the first team honors. And you are the Centennial Conference Indoor Track and Field Scholar Athlete, all within 1 year because you had the bravery to say, I need something different. So for me as a coach, there is always going to be a before Carly Priest and an after Carly Priest. And for me, before Carly Priest is having a lot of confidence in my coaching, thinking I know a lot, thinking very strongly that I have a sense of how things should look. After Carly, I'm really willing to try new things, iterate, be braver, and get outside my comfort zone to meet my athletes' needs. So Carly's given me an immeasurable gift, how to be a better coach. And it is my dream in life to have this job forever and die and be buried on the nature trail. True. So it's not only a gift that Carly has given me, it is a gift that Carly has given any other athlete that I work with after her, which is the idea that I can change what I know to meet the needs of my athletes to serve them better. So athletes always impact their coaches, this is true, but rare athletes force their coaches through trust, respect, and concern to rewire how they operate. So thank you for your trust because it helped me build my trust in myself. Thank you for using your voice because it helped me find mine. Thank you for being brave because it made me brave. And congrats to all your hard work being recognized tonight. You more than earned it.
And with that, please welcome 2026 Amler Award co-winner, Carly Priest.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I'm incredibly grateful to be standing here today in front of such exceptional people, including my peers and the members of the support systems that are here today. And I'm even more excited to share this with 3 of my amazing teammates who are here today and my parents. At events like these where we celebrate academic accomplishments, it can be easy to measure one's success off of one little metric. And for the longest time, I put so much emphasis on what this metric said about me. But now, at the end of my 4 years, that metric doesn't even make the top 10 list of what I want to remember about my college experience. What I will remember is Coach Anique, who despite my many less than ideal track seasons that she just talked about, never wavered in her confidence that I could be a competitive runner. For context, during my freshman and sophomore year here, I ran 5 seconds slower in both my 400 and my 800 compared to my high school times. And if you're not very familiar with track, that's pretty bad. And we were actually just talking about it at the table, but I was looking at my times from middle school, and I was only running about 2 seconds off of what I ran when I was 13 years old, so it was not a very good freshman and sophomore year. But despite my frustrations, Anique gave me the confidence I needed to believe in myself, and she has helped me to accomplish things this year that my freshman self could not have predicted. More importantly, she shaped me immensely as a young woman. She's helped me to trust in myself, to walk into a room knowing that I deserve to take up space, and the importance of saying no. I'll remember Coach Justice, who is always the loudest voice during my races, and who has taught me the joy of turning my brain off and just racing. I'll remember Coach Will, who has taught me to turn pre-race anxiety into excitement, and for being the best pacer during my time trials. I'll remember my mom and dad, who have done nothing but support me and sacrifice to give me every opportunity they can. I'm grateful to have parents who have shown me what it means to be truly selfless, and who have shown my brothers and I the best example of what love should look like. I'm so lucky that I've always known that no matter how well I do on a test or how fast I run, I have 2 people that will love me unconditionally. In the midst of my freshman and sophomore year slump, my dad would actually send me a handwritten letter in the mail after every meet telling me how proud he was of me and the woman I was becoming. Their support means the world to me and has been one of the biggest contributors to my success during my time here. My mom's actually the person who got me into track, and it's not because she ran track in college and I wanted to follow in her footsteps. It's actually because she signed me up without me knowing in 7th grade because she thought I'd be good. And then she told me during church that Sunday, so I couldn't say anything back to her. So while I was mad at first, I think it really worked out for me, so thank you to my mom. I'll remember my friends and my teammates who kept me going when I wanted to quit. It felt like every day I would call my mom and tell her how frustrated I was with track. And every time she would respond by saying, "You know you can quit." And for a second I almost did. But with the teammates I had, there was no way I could. One of my favorite quotes about friendship comes from the book A Little Life, and it reads, "The only trick of friendship, I think, is to find people who are better than you are. Not smarter, not cooler, but kinder and more generous and more forgiving." My teammates embody every one of those qualities and push me every day to be a better person and athlete. So much of who I am is because of them. There's not an inch of that track where I don't feel supported during my races. I'll remember Dr. Shane Hard, who has helped me to find the joy in science and to take setbacks in stride. I'm incredibly grateful for the perspective that she's given me on research, and I'm so lucky to have had her guide me through the crazy journey that is senior thesis. I'm incredibly honored to be among such an accomplished group of people, and even more honored to share this award with Jonah, who's been a good friend of mine for the past 4 years. It's only right that the only 2 people from Ohio in our grade win this award. And like Jonah texted me after we both found out we were co-winners, it's really an award for Ohio. So tonight, I encourage you to celebrate your academic success, which very much so should be celebrated, but to at the same time, think of the people and moments that have shaped your journey, whether they are here with you or not. So no, I don't consider my journey a success because of my GPA, but because of the lessons I've learned from those in my life. Whether that be the value of resilience, how to put others before yourself, or to not talk back to your mom when you find out she signed you up for a sport that you didn't want to do, because it might work out for you in the end. And I think those are much more meaningful metrics for success. Thank you so much, and as always, go Bees, but most importantly, go Buckeyes.
Well, thank you so much. Could we just have one more round of applause for all the student athletes, please? Thank you. Thank you, President Raymond, senior staff, friends and family, faculty, and members of the athletics department. I would like to offer a special thank you to the catering staff who did a wonderful job this evening. As well as to the athletics communication staff, Kern McCauley and Matt Nissenfeld, along with Susan McCabe, executive assistant for the athletics department. Tonight's event has been recorded. Will be available on the Haverford Athletics YouTube page in the coming days. Thank you all for coming out and celebrating our wonderful student athletes. That concludes our evening. If you could please leave your name tags at the table so they may be collected and reused. And students, please gather with Kern and Matt for some photographs. So good night and travel home safely.